This is the pose to pose tutorial. In pose to pose, you follow your storyboard where you have keyframes. You find the place on your timeline where that keyframe will be positioned, and then you draw the in-between frames, which fill in the gradual changes between those keyframes and create the illusion of smooth movement. This is the first kind of tweening animation that you will do. It's not the computer tweening. This is the original type of tweening that was used in early animation. So I find that a leaping rabbit makes a good test case. Let's start a new file. File, New, ActionScript 3.0, 1280, 720. This time again we want to change the frame rate to 12, especially for this one because you'll be drawing every frame in this motion. Say OK. Here's our new file. This file you want to save as File, Save As, 04 tutorial. Your initials, mine are VDK. Save it, make sure it's going into the correct folder. And fit it in the window or show frame. This is your beginning of this animation. There's nothing happening. You want to first do a production sketch. Now I did a production sketch and I've got it where I can get to it on my desktop. Here's my pose to pose production sketch. There we go. So you can see what it looks like. And you see that what we've got is 4 different keyframes. Keyframe number 1, resting. Keyframe number 5, leaping. Keyframe number 9, landing. And keyframe number 11, resting again, and then extend that to 15 so you have a stop in the animation where he's just sitting for a while. Close that. Okay, so we know we need keyframes at 5. We put F7 and 9, F7 and 11, F7, and then to the end of 15. We don't need keyframes there, we can just use F5. So there you go, you've got your 4 keyframes. Now that we've decided what the positions are, we go to the necessary frame and we draw what we need. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to choose I'll just go ahead and choose black. Let's go with the defaults and flip it. So I'm just going to use black. I'm going to get my brush tool and I'm going to get sort of a medium small brush. That one. Okay. I'm going to figure I'm going to start out here, it'll be up here, and then over to here, let's say. So, if you want to, you can turn on your rulers, and you can use some guides. So I'm going to start about here. This will be the ground line. They'll be flying along here. At the top, or the height of his leap, will be about here, and we'll make that just a little bit higher. And then he'll land about here. So that's my general design. I've decided that's what I'm going to do, and that's kind of arbitrary, just generally deciding that because I know how big my bunny is going to be. Okay, so I'm going to draw my bunny starting with frame number 1, resting. So I decided to draw here. Here's his back. He's just sitting there, just chilling. And there's his tail. Okay, so that's my frame number 1. Very simple rabbit. I'm going to save that. Command S. And now I'm going to go to frame 5. Frame 5, I want him to be leaping in the air. I'm going to turn on my onion skinning so I can see where the last one was. And now I'm going to have him leaping in the air about here. So here we go. Leaping in the air. There he is. He's a nice fat little bunny. Then I will save that. And then I will have him landing over here, just coming down to where he's landing. Okay. I'm going to have him landing down, coming to his landing right here. So, and his ears are a little bit flopping because he's coming down. I decided to move him a little bit further over from where I thought I would have him. There he is. I'll command save that. And now I'm going to have him coming to a rest. And he's going to be right here. Draw him again. Okay, so there he is. We'll turn off the onion skinning, go back to the beginning, and we'll see how that looks. There you go. Very simple, but he does look kind of choppy. But you see, you get a general idea. And now you can go through and you can do the in-betweens. So let's turn on onion skinning and we'll put a frame in between there. Let's do F7. And let's draw a bunny in between here that's about the right size and about the right place. And so let's say, oh, about here. And then we go in between these two here. And F7 there. We want to put him in between these two positions. And then we're going to come over here. And we can F7 here and come between these two positions. And just come back here and just do the in-betweens for these two positions. See, it's just a very gradual way of building up. It's a little bit more specific. It's a little bit, it's easy, but at the same time it requires a lot of concentration. And you have to anticipate what's going to change from frame to frame. And you could just do a lot of F6 and moving of the figure as well. So there's different ways of accomplishing these things. Each of them is valid, and you should try as many different types as you want, because one of them might work better for you than for somebody else. And there's no way of knowing until you've tried it. Okay, and turn off onion skinning, go back to the beginning, and Command S, and you get a nice smooth looking animation. And that is pose to pose. Okay, and now let's save that, and we're done with that set of tutorials.